Hello and welcome to the Sam Pace Memoirs. My name is Sam Pace. This is the 4th episode of the blah 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 blah. Hello and welcome to the Sam Pace Memoirs. My name is Sam Pace. This is episode 4 of the first season. I'm going to tell you a story about meeting my hero in this episode. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment below. One Friday afternoon at the age of 19, I was over at a friend of a friend's house buying some herb. We drank beers and passed around a 4-foot house ball. I had been listening peripherally to a song that was playing upstairs. As we got up to leave, I asked our host, "Hey man, who's this playing?" "Toots and the Maytals, man," he said enthusiastically. There was a record store on the walk home, so I stopped in and checked their reggae section. Sure enough, there on a white placard, in black all caps, it read, "Toots and the Maytals." I flipped through the CDs and saw images of what looked like a black laughing lion with two thin smiling gents that looked like they were a quarter Muppet. I picked out a double album called Monkey Man from the Roots because the stuff I had heard at the apartment sounded like it was recorded in the 70s. And the faces in the picture said, "Yes man, you've come to the right place." The next morning I woke up, rolled a joint, and put the CD in my stereo. From that morning on, Toots Hibbert and his Maytals were not only my happy place, but musically speaking, my dearest love and inspiration. The combination of soul, groove, joy, and Jamaican elocution was the perfect storm. It was my holy grail. Roughly a year later, I was walking to class on a very cold January morning in Madison, Wisconsin, when before me appeared the most unexpected sight. A yellow flyer taped to a lamppost screamed out to me, "Toots and the Maytals live Friday, March 20th at the Barrymore Theater." I could not believe my eyes. I ripped the flyer down and made sure that it was real. It was. 6 weeks later, I was front row witnessing the gospel in all its glory. The show was even better than I could have imagined. Toots gave fist bumps to everyone he could throughout the show. His two backup singers were no longer the gentlemen from the recordings, but now two beautiful Jamaican women who smiled and made eye contact with everyone in the crowd as they sang. And Toots' voice, that epic, sacred force which had changed me as a human being, was just as powerful and life-affirming as ever, even more so. Throughout the show, we would yell out songs we hoped to hear. One of our favorites was a number called PP Cluck Cluck, which unbeknownst to us, was actually a very deep cut. In the middle of the show, having heard our party yell for the song, Toots jumped into the requested number. However, something strange was happening. Only Toots was playing and singing. Nobody in the band joined in. They didn't know it, or at the very least, did not have it rehearsed. Toots was giving us a private performance of our favorite number right there in front of the whole concert hall. When he finished a verse and chorus, he said, "You know that one, eh? Y'all have good taste." He actually said that. Now he didn't address us directly because he didn't know from where in the crowd the request had come, but we knew. And we made sure everyone around us knew as well. 3 years after that, I got a chance to meet him. I had procured backstage passes to a show at the House of Blues in Chicago via some aggressive attempts to get my band a chance to open for him. It didn't work out, but Toots' booking agent was incredibly gracious and gave me the passes as a consolation. Some friends and I went to the show, and when we got in, immediately made our way towards the backstage. We were going up some steep stairs and didn't really know where we were going, but the fact that we had just flashed some plastic badges and were let through a threshold was titillating. The ascent finally brought us to a door. I opened it and went through. The room was empty, but as I looked left, there was an open door to another room, and in it stood Toots Hibbert. He was half naked, pulling up his pants. He saw us and quickly slammed the door. I just walked in on one of my biggest heroes getting dressed. We stayed another 10 minutes and realized that before the show probably wasn't the best time to request time with our idol. The show was as good as can be, and afterwards we made our second attempt. Some of our party was a little off-put by the first interaction and decided they would meet us outside. My mate Chuck and I made our second attempt by entering on the other side of the stage. We made our way up the stairs and found a room full of people, but no Toots. We passed through the room and into another smaller room full of people. Still no Toots. We continued through that room and found yet another room, the smallest yet. It had a table in the middle with 6 people sitting around it. Toots sat at one end. He was rolling a spliff. There were 2 open seats at the table. I asked politely, "Hi, Toots. Great show. Do you mind if we sit down? Ja, man, he replied as he extended his hand. We sat down. Noticing that he was filling the paper with a modest pile of weed, I quickly pulled out the nugget in my pocket and placed it in front of him. With the offering made, our place at the table was official. For the next 20 minutes, I sat in a small room, passing around a Zeppelin-sized blunt, talking with my hero. I held my tongue for most of the time, only interjecting when openings presented themselves. I took it in. Toots, spliff, room, smoke, toots, chuck, talk, smile, room, chair. This is real life. Enjoy this. Ask him this. Breathe it in. After a length of time, the woman sitting next to him insisted he head back to the hotel, as he had been sick all week. He stood. We all stood. As he exited, he shook everyone's hand. He approached me and we embraced, all four hands together. Thank you for being my friend, he said. He repeated it to everyone. When Chuck and I got outside, we hopped up and down and laughed like schoolgirls. This concludes episode 4. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment below, and we'll see you next week.